Do you ever feel like you're just not smart enough to truly understand something? Or that mastering new skills is only for the genetically gifted few? Well, I've got good news for you. My name is Vignesh, and I used to think that some topics were just too complex for me to grasp. And that was just before I discovered a simple technique pioneered by the most famous physicist, Richard Feynman. He rejected the notion that learning ability is fixed. Instead, he believes anyone can master difficult concepts with the right approach. In this video, I'm going to be revealing Feynman's 4-step method for learning anything faster and more deeply than you ever thought possible. So if you are struggling in school, want to excel in your career, or simply learn a new skill, make sure you watch till the end. Let's get started. So what exactly is the Feynman technique? At its core, it's simple. It's a 4-step process focused on genuine understanding rather than rote memorization. We've all been guilty of robotic learning, cramming details the night before an exam, only to forget everything shortly after. Feynman realized that while this allows you to pass tests, the information doesn't stick. Instead, he focused on truly grasping concepts through active engagement. While challenging at first, this method builds frameworks that allow you to tackle more and more complex topics with greater ease over time. Alright, let's dive into the 4 steps. So the first one is to choose a concept to learn. First, you have to intentionally select a concept. This lets you zero in on a particular idea instead of just passively absorbing information. Actively focusing your attention is key here. Try choosing concepts you've struggled with in the past or those relating to a skill that you wish to improve. This helps you reveal gaps or misconception in understanding. If you're not sure where to start, think back to past lectures, books, or even real-life scenarios that confused you. The goal here is to build understanding from the bottom up. So let's just say, for example, if I'm going to learn about AI. AI is a very general topic, and there's multiple subtopics that actually involve within AI. And that means there's multiple rabbit holes that I can jump into and I'll soon lose focus. So what I will do is to find a subtopic that interests me or that I'm going to level up on my skill. So let's say, for example, how do I use AI to help in my business process? And that's a subtopic which I can really focus on. Or how does it help with customer service or sales? And if that leads me to chatbots, within chatbots, there are multiple subtopics. Like, is it chat-based? Is it voice-based? Does it integrate with other CRMs and all of those other stuff? So what I'm trying to say is don't bite off more than what you can chew early on. Start small with clearly defined focused concepts to avoid getting overwhelmed. Over time, you can tackle broader and more challenging topics as your mastery builds. The second step is to teach it to yourself or someone else. This next step leverages teaching as an active learning technique. The goal here is to explain the concept aloud clearly enough that someone else could understand it. You can teach either an imaginary person or even better, an actual friend or classmate. Attempting to convey ideas to others forces you to pinpoint any fuzzy areas. As Feynman put it, if you couldn't explain something clearly, then simply it was because you didn't understand it well enough. This feedback is much richer than just passively rereading materials. Offering explanations out loud also builds communication skills. Start by self-explaining concepts in your own words. Don't worry about glossing over details. That actually helps strengthen understanding by distilling key ideas. Imagine a young student is listening and aim for the vocabulary that they would comprehend. Then try teaching the full concept to a peer or an adult. This cycle from self to social explanation lays a solid foundation. And truth be told, when I was practicing this, I used to imagine myself as a professor teaching to a group of students while in the shower. You can't judge me. There's no shame in that game. I'm learning. Third step, return to source material if you get stuck. Here's an important reality check. You are going to struggle at times. The Feynman technique is an iterative approach, with each cycle reinforcing comprehension. When you inevitably get stuck explaining ideas, just turn back to the source material rather than just guessing randomly. Review again, actively searching for answers you couldn't convey rather than passively rereading. Ask clarifying questions and leverage other available resources too, like classroom, teachers, online research, or even tools like ChatGPT. These repetitions further strengthen neural connections, filling gaps missed in earlier cycles. Think of each return to source material and re-explaining as laying another layer of brick, building more robust knowledge structures in your mind. Set aside ego and embrace the journey of grappling with tricky concepts through multiple iterations. And for the last step, simplify and use analogies. Alright, you've returned to the source material multiple times, but are still struggling with certain concepts. Or maybe you grasp the general idea, but keep glossing over key details. This last step is about to break things down into more basic, concrete language. Simplify explanations into almost childlike terminology. For complex technical terms, strip away unfamiliar vocabulary and use plain analogies. Avoid just defining advanced words with other complex dictionary descriptions. Instead, relate them to simple real-world examples that even kids would understand. Come up with your own analogies, tailored to how your mind visualizes information. If learning botany, compare plant transport systems to rivers or even straws. Use spatial references already familiar to you from past experiences. These personal stories and examples stick better over time and aid your memory. So just from personal experience, when I used to come up with my own analogies, I used to get ahead of myself because I already know the concept. And when I put up analogies, sometimes they just don't interlink with each other. And when I finally explain this to someone who's unfamiliar with the entire subject, they don't get a clue. So in order to help with that, I started using Figma or even Miro or any other brainstorming tools to put those into certain order where it flows, it links, and that helped me communicate my ideas better. This is just a side note, hope that helps. All right, putting this all together, the first step is to intentionally select a concept to learn. Second step is to explain it out loud to yourself or others. Third step is to return to the source material when facing gaps. And the last one, simplify concepts into basic language and analogies. This deceptively simple approach works across all fields, from math, science, tech, and business. I encourage you to try applying it when studying for your next test or aiming to pick up a new skill. It flips learning from a passive chore into an active adventure. I hope you feel inspired to start applying this method to your own studies and interests. If you found this video helpful, please tap the thumbs up icon and subscribe to my channel for more effective tips on learning. I sincerely hope this video helps, and I'll see you on the next one.